Okay, so welcome to the alternative system of governance. Slide-ish. Right, so I'm the presenter, Philip A. Franco. I am Trinidadian by birth. I'm a naturopathic doctor for about 30 years, medical herbalist. I'm a political activist. I really dislike injustice, and I'm a devotee of life. The general contents will be the revelation or the awakening, the revolution, a plan, which is the manifesto of the alternative system, upgrading democracy, a no-party system, people empowerment, people's representatives, and the action that we need to take and our role in doing so. We Decide TT is a supporting organization born out of another organization that I head, which is NAMA, the Natural and Alternative Medicine Association. And this particular group, We Decide TT, are from members of NAMA who have seen this, this documentary or this system that I did a previous presentation, and they are supporting the promotion of this system. Next. So the revelation, a time to awaken. So all of this happening right now in the world today with this pandemic was really, it was meant to occur. And our prior normal, we have to understand, wasn't very good. There were many flaws before, and things weren't great. And all that is happening now is for us to realize certain things. This is, as I call it, the revelation in our time, big revelation. Next. So we can see that institutions are failing the people. We see that big pharma cares about money first. And some of us knew that, some of us in this industry knew that, but many people thought that, you know, big pharma was producing all these lovely medicines, you know, because they cared about them and these medicines were good and so forth. Today, many people can now realize that the WHO, the FDA, the CDC are not what we thought. They weren't institutions that were caring for humanity, right? And now we see that this elitist mob, the mega rich mob, that they have control, right? They can control governments and they can control us. And all the governments all around the world, not just in Trinidad, are failing the people. And now we are seeing our powerlessness. We are feeling it, at least, you know, most of us are. Yeah. And to the point where we are actually in a state of hopelessness, right? There's no hope. We don't know what the future brings. We don't know, we cannot plan for tomorrow. Our families, we cannot plan our businesses, we cannot plan our lives. Next. No one gave the elitist mob authority over us. Yet they use their money power to lobby governments, to create protectionist laws for their benefit. We elected representatives to represent us and our wishes. Yet our representatives, whether they are parliamentarians, members of Congress in the different countries of the world, whatever you call those people, they represent their leader, they represent the mob, because the mob controls the media, everything, right? We are powerless and the system is not working for us. And we have to realize that. And one very important lesson is how powerless we the people are. When we can see one person, that's the prime minister I'm speaking about, in our country and in other countries, can shut down everything and cripple your country and starve the citizens to death without us being able to have a say and defend ourselves and our freedoms. So we should now have a better sense of how inadequate and unjust the system by which we govern ourselves is. If we didn't have that sense before, we should have it now, at least to those whose eyes are open. We human beings are actually meant to be in a great place. We're not really here supposed to be suffering and fighting among each other. We are meant to live on earth in peace and harmony, in bliss, in prosperity. There's enough of everything to go around. There's enough food and everything to go around if we only were to organize ourselves better and stop fighting among ourselves and dividing ourselves. We are all supposed to be enjoying the dance of life. We are all supposed to be enjoying our existence. But we have to realize our power. We have failed to institute into our learning systems the realization of who we are and what our purpose is here. We fail to impart this information to our children. We send them to school to learn A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3. And they don't know. They get a university degree, and they don't know who they are in this universe and what their purpose is. Right? And this is crucial. We need to realize our power. We need to understand that the most powerful power that exists in us. We are connected to the entirety of the power that is the power. We don't have a little bit in us. We are actually connected to all of it. And we are extremely powerful. And if we knew that, we will have no fear. And fear right now is one of the things that is hindering us more than ever. But I believe that because that is a separate conversation. I don't want to get into the pandemic and what is right, what is truth and not truth there. I'm just showing and offering something that can be useful to us going forward as a solution. And we have the power to change everything. We have the power to change ourselves, the way we think, the way we act, the way we work with one another. And we need to get together. We need to come together to create the change that we want, the change that we need. We have to do it together. None of us are an island. We all need one another. Next. So, if the situation causes you fear, anxiety, anger, despair, hopelessness, and you don't realize your powerlessness, then what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you prepared to do? You know, everybody is sitting around and looking on as if it's entertainment and we are looking at a movie. But this is our lives. This is our destiny that we are allowing other people to control. And I'm saying that we have to take control, right? So we need not wait any longer. Next. The time for change is now. More than ever before, it's now. And now is the only time we have, actually. We don't have what is past, and we're not sure to have what time will come. So now is always the time for you to act. Next. So once we have been revealed, or we awake, or we understand, we need to act, and we need to do something. So we need to have a revolution. A revolution that is going to empower the people. We need to have a revolution. And while the word revolution conjures up images of revolt and violence against the government, I'm not proposing that. I'm proposing a peaceful revolution. The revolution is called a revolution. It's a very sharp change made to something. The word comes from Latin and is related to the word revolutio, which means a turnaround, a change. That's what it means. It doesn't mean that we're in the streets and we are, throwing out the present government. Okay? If we had a violent revolution, what will happen? There will be a void, there will be chaos. We're going to institute at some point in time another political party, and we probably, I'm sure that it's going to be no better off. Even if you change the party of the day, as I say, it's the same khaki pants. It is not going to change anything because the problem is the system that we have been using, that it is outdated, it is not functioning, and this, we have to realize that. That has to be one of the things that we have realized, and we have to awaken to that fact and say, okay, let's change this. Next. We need 5 things to create change, and that is, we need a reason for change. We need a desire for change. We need then to identify the change on what it is we want to change, and we need to plan for that change and then to implement the change. Yeah? Yeah? So to begin, first, we must change. We must change how we think and how we act. One of the things I've realized recently is that everything that I thought I knew, that I don't know. I only believe those things. Everything I thought I knew, I only believed them. I didn't know them for sure. So we have to understand that, and we have to be open to new ideas. to believe new things. Yes? So, and we must unite. We must unite under one supreme power. We must know that let us unite under one supreme power. Let's not be divided by this and that and religion and political parties and vaccinating, non-vaccinating, and all these different things. Right? Let us just unite, saying, you're my brother, we are all under one supreme power. Yeah, and let us unite for the freedom, for the justice, and for the empowerment of our people. Don't you want the empowerment of your people? Don't you want to be empowered? And we need to take the required action. We have to act. For far too long, we have given the job to others. Say, look, let's elect this mob and let them handle our affairs. And then we see they don't really handle our affairs properly. And then what we do? We complain, we elect a different mob, and they do the same thing. And we do it over and over again and over again and over again. We have to change this. Next. We need to recognize our wonderful and powerful motto. This is for Trinidad and Tobago, for anybody viewing from abroad. This is our motto. Together we aspire, together we achieve. It's a wonderful motto, but we don't really use it, we don't live by it. The only way we're going to fix anything is by unification of the people. So we must unify, we must know that we must come together and work together as comrades, right? As brothers and sisters. We must. There's no other way. There's no other way. Next. Yeah, who's going to fix our country? How is our country going to be fixed? We have to do it. We have to change it. We have to fix it. We have to get off the fence. We have to do work. It involves work, right? I mean, in Trinidad and Tobago, you know, a lot of people find that work is a four-letter bad word, right? But it is not true. Work is what we are here to do. We are all here to do God's work, which is one of the main things, but that is for another lecture. But we must be unified, and we need a plan so that we can go forward together and get things done. Next. The plan. So here is a plan. I'm offering a plan. Have a look. If you know of a better plan, support that one. If there's a better plan, I will rejoice for my people, and I will support it. If not, support this one. Next. We all need to buy in to the plan. Whatever plan we pick, we have to have a plan. You can't be running your affairs, you can't be running your country without a plan. You can't be coming every week and having a media conference and just, you know, implementing and changing the goalposts and things like that. You must have a plan. I mean, any corporation, they have a plan and they work with a plan. So we need to work together within a plan, and together we aspire, together we achieve. Next. So a plan for Trinidad and Tobago. I wrote this plan in the 1980s. You know, when I lived in Australia, I was just, you know, I was in Australia and I found that things worked very well there, and in Trinidad things weren't very good, and I wanted things to be better, and I got ideas of how things might be better by implementing certain things. And I wrote things on little pieces of paper. I was 20-something years old, and I didn't even know what I was writing. I was just writing thoughts that came to me, and I thought they sounded good, and I didn't want to lose it, and I wrote them down. And I came back to Trinidad, and during the coup of 1990, I was able to put it together on a typewriter with a friend, and at some point in time later on, it was renamed the Manifesto of the Alternative System. So that is where all this is coming from, just to give you an idea. Next. So, in Trinidad, we have some systemic issues. The economy is very bad. It was bad before this whole pandemic, whatever. Crime was bad, has always been bad, for the last, several decades. Most government institutions are not run properly. Sorry, I should say all. All government institutions are not run properly and do not serve us adequately. Far from. We have antiquated laws on our books, and there's no regard for the law as well, right? We have blatant corruption, nepotism, squandermania. I mean, there's so many scandals every day that neither we, the media, the police, nor the courts can keep up. We have mismanagement, all the government services, no accountability, and the basic necessities are lacking. I mean, people in this day and age don't have water in their communities, a daily supply of water. Some people don't even get it for a whole week, right? Some people don't even have pipes with water to where they live, right? And while these politicians live like kings, above us, no accountability. We work under this system of this partisan, this party to the line politics, adversarial politics. Arrogance is the order of the day inside Parliament and outside Parliament. Aggression between government and the opposition, which fosters arrogance and aggressions in the streets. You can see it in how people drive, and you can see it in the schools with children against one another, right? And the workplace, it's everywhere, it's rampant, right? And the aggression in Parliament is time wasting. You're bashing the other side, just wasting our time while the archaic laws stay, and while they pass laws, sneak in and pass laws to benefit themselves and their elitist mob friends, right? Decisions are made without our consent. This is the system. There's no system in place to find out the needs of the people. There's no system to find out the will of the people. All we have is a vote every 5 years, and they say that that's your power. But that is not enough power. For me, I cannot accept that as being sufficient. I'm not happy with it, and I want to do something about it. Imagine in this day and age, 2021, that the only system for a community to let the government know that they're fed up and had enough, where their needs are not being met, is to block the streets and burn tires in protest, right? Protesting in the streets is an inefficient way of getting the will of the people known, right? People have to leave their jobs, their children, their families, spend time doing that. A lot of people can't do it. A lot of people are afraid to do it. They may get locked up and so forth. Some people don't want to get locked up. I am one of them, right? So we need to have a system that can work, an efficient system. Next. So I said that already. We have to take to the streets in protest. And today we can organize some action on Facebook and social media, but the government doesn't take us on unless they really feel threatened. And now they're censoring us. Next. So the system of governance has failed. Not just here, all over the world, we see it. The people are trying to stand up and say, no, we don't want this. Don't you hear us? But no, they send police into the streets to beat the people and submit them into going along with what they want to impose on the people, right? And so, as I said before, just changing the party is going to be the same khaki pants, as we say in Trinidad, or, you know, the same kettle of fish or whatever, you know. So we need innovation. Yes? Let's go. So solution lies not merely in changing the government of the day or the party, but in changing and fixing the system of governance, right? I'm trying to, you know, say it over and over to really get it into our heads. Yes? Continuing to do the same thing over and over and expect different results. This is madness. We all know that saying. Next. So we need to modernize our archaic system. We cannot continue to use it anymore. Everything else is being modernized all over the world, where modern management and high-tech real-time systems that are accessible to us right now, it creates efficiencies and accountability that are successfully utilized in the private and corporate world. And there's no reason that the government cannot work with the same level of efficiency as Google and Amazon. You know, not that I want to support Google and Amazon, I'm just referencing the efficiency by which they work, right? Because they use the technology in their management systems, right? We have the technology. You know, what are we waiting on? And people all over the world are crying out for change. Next. Innovation. Yes. Time for change, time for action. This guy, Richard Buckminster Fuller, he said, you never change existence, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Next. Right. So this presentation now will show you how to create a new system, how we will create a new system of democracy. And I do have other parts of the manifesto that we won't be presenting today, and that is one is economic strategies for TNT, which is just lovely. You will love it as well, and hopefully we'll get that on video, and we'll share it on a webinar and get it onto our sites and so forth. And we have agriculture and various other things. Next. Now, I just want to emphasize what I'm sharing with you today of a new system is not the end all and be all. This proposal is the start of a new way. It's an offering of ideas, hopefully to be accepted by you and added to by you, while it's continually being transformed and evolved as we evolve. This proposal is really about a system that empowers the people and gets them involved in our governance. It is about being able to tap into our biggest resource, our people, their ideas, their input, their participation. It's governance that is efficient and people-centered, right? So we want to get people involved, right? Because one person dictating their ideas to run a country doesn't make sense. We have, in Trinidad, we have 1.4 million people, 1 million adults, you know, and that's 1 million brains, right? When we are being led now by one, well, I don't even want to say a brain, but we're being led by one person with whatever they have between there. Right. So this is my vision and the vision of this organization that hopefully we can all become part of. To see our citizens empowered and fulfilling their dreams and goals in harmony with the opportunity to participate in the governance of their country at some level while seeking the best for each other and for the environment, where arrogance and corruption have no place within our society, and where all law-abiding citizens are free to follow their pursuits. And the mission is to work with all to provide the changes necessary within the structures of government to accomplish good governance, providing hope and opportunity to our citizens to fulfill their dreams and goals. Upgrading democracy. What is democracy? The professor asked, and the student says, democracy is the freedom to elect our own dictators. So I don't know where she got that, but maybe she's been looking at the situation. I got this from the dictionary. Democracy means power to the people. The people as a body. Government by the people, for the people. A system that empowers the people to decide for themselves their destiny. This is from Thomas Jefferson, principal author of the Declaration of Independence and the third president of the United States of America. And he said, the equal claim of all to a fair participation in the enactment of the laws by which they are governed. So can we honestly say that this is what exists in the democracy that we claim to have? I say no, far from it. The word comes from the Greek, demos, meaning people, and kratos, to rule. Rule by the people. Rule by the people. Imagine that. Okay. I hope some of us are learning something today. Next. Power to the people. Next. Democracy began in Athens, Greece, in 500 BC. And the citizens debated, as is being depicted here in this painting. The citizens debated in the square and voted on legislative bills. So, just like Thomas Jefferson just said, the citizens debated the legislative bills, put forward to them, and then, by a show of hands, they voted on what they wanted as the law, which would govern themselves. As we know today, in corporations, it is a widely used system that they give their staff, they give their staff teams, and they ask them to solve certain problems, come up with solutions, come up with policy. And they know very well that when the staff come up with that policy, come up with the solution, that they are going to be more likely to follow those than if it was dictated upon them by a type of dictatorial leader in the corporation. Say, this is how it's going to be from now on, and you'll do it this way because I say so, right? So we want people to be participating at all levels, right? And especially in the participation of the drafting and enactment of the very laws that govern them. This is the power that we are supposed to have in a democracy, according to all the definitions, according to how it started in Greek in 500 BC. Next. So democracy did not begin with a party system. In the United States of America, initially, they did not have political parties, but they soon evolved, right, soon after independence. The Constitution of the United States was adopted in 1788, and it provided the world's first formal blueprint for a modern democracy. The administration of George Washington and the first few sessions of US Congress were non-partisan. A lot of people don't know this. In 1976, factions within the early US government coalesced into the Federalist and Democratic Republican parties, or GANs, right? Because what happened, they were independent representatives that were representatives of the people or constituencies, and they sat in the parliament or the Congress, as it were there. And what happened is people ganged up together because they made friends, and they said, if you vote for my bill, I'll vote for yours. And so they formed these what they call parties and what I call gangs. And even in Trinidad and Tobago, I do believe that we can use the anti-gang legislation against them, because any person or group of persons who terrorize a person or group of persons can be considered a gang under the anti-gang legislation. So you can read from that what you wish. Next. So in our present system, we elect a candidate put forward by a party. We have to realize, again, this is the revelation. We have to become aware. We have to awaken to this, people. All the people. This has to reach all the people. We have to educate the people. That candidate is not our candidate. That candidate that comes up into your community come election time, campaign time, that comes and hugs up the children and makes promises, is not your candidate. They're not your representative. They must play the toe-the-line politics that exists, right? They could do as they wish without your input or consent when they're elected. Well, they don't do as they wish, they actually follow their leader, or the leader of the party. It's toe-the-line politics. We, the people, have no power, except, as we said, to elect somebody, not our candidate, every election, every 5 years. This is not working, it's unacceptable. So I'll introduce you to the no-party system. So we're basically going back to basics, right? Going back to a no-party, a non-partisan system. I just like this slide. Vote for nobody. Nobody will keep election promises. Nobody will listen to your concerns. Nobody will have the poor and unemployed. Nobody cares, right? Good. So we can't empower anybody. We must retain the power, okay? Next. So we, the people, we need to organize ourselves within our communities, constituencies. We need to find our own representative, our own independent people's representative, PR, who have no party ties, and we want to put them up for election. I'll tell you how later. And we elect and we put them into parliament, our own people's representatives. Something like you heard before, independent representatives, but it is a bit different because they're not independent. They are the people's representatives. So they're not independent to go there and independently decide what they're going to vote for in parliament. They are the people's representative of your constituency, and they have to vote for what the people of the constituency want in the majority, right? Who will work with their constituents on issues and act in accordance with the wishes of the people in the parliament, pertaining to creating and amending laws and policies for the people, not making laws for the elitist mob, not helping, the big businesses and corporations get their protectionist laws. No, 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 no. The laws to empower the people. Next. So we have to have a system where our communities, our constituencies have physical meetings, have online meetings, where we discuss issues, where we find solutions, right? In each constituency in Trinidad, we have about 40, 50,000 people. We have 40, 50,000 adult brains to find solutions to our issues, right? People have the most wonderful ideas. Sometimes you even talk to vagrants, and it's amazing of what they can tell you. And the people will vote on the possible solutions that come to the fore. Next. Direct democracy. So this is a term, I didn't make it up, and I found it after I wrote all this stuff. And so direct democracy describes the enabling of citizens to vote directly on constitutional amendments, laws, treaties, policies, and on community infrastructural and social issues. Direct democracy, the people is involved. And direct democracy, well, it started in Athens, Greece, as we showed. It also was in the United States. There are some forms of direct democracy that do occur, as you will see shortly. And it exists where people vote on issues. In Switzerland, they do work on a system, a political system of direct democracy. And the people vote for amending laws and for amending their constitution and so forth, as we will see. Next. This is a picture of the Swiss in one of their communities. And up in the fore, there, there's a panel of, legislative persons. And here the people are actually voting for the laws or for constitutional laws and so forth. So this exists and have existed for a long time in Switzerland, right? Yeah. This is a picture of a town hall meeting somewhere. And, these people are probably voting on, whether they're going to build a park at the corner or, or allow a 5-story condominium to be built and encroach on this and that and whatever. And so they get to discuss it. And I know in Canada, in Australia, in the States, people have a little input at that level, a little participation at that level, right? Next. The voice of the people is the voice of God. Many of you have heard this before. Acting on the majority vote of the people, this is democracy. Direct democracy, participatory democracy. So, folks, let's embrace the 21st century. It's time for a modern and efficient way to capture the will of the people. So for starters, we can get rid of the ballot box. It's corruptible, it's time wasting. I mean, in Trinidad, you know, it's almost like a day off. It's another holiday. Well, you know, it's every 5 years, but still, we don't need any more holidays. But if we wanted to vote on issues, you know, we couldn't be going to the ballot box. And you know, you have to cut down trees and everything to make all this paper, and it's just a waste of time. So we can be doing more productive things with our time. So we have the technology, and we can e-vote from the luxury of our living rooms, our offices, our bedroom, if you want to lie down and vote and have a say. It is possible. When I next, right? So we can vote for candidates. We can vote on community matters, local government, national matters, and we can vote one day on world matters, right? Next. Rather than the elitist mob, you know, in the United Nations, voting and deciding everything that they want to control us with, right? So when I wrote this, we didn't have computers. Yeah, we didn't have computers. And we didn't have these phones. And I had written that we could use the ATM machines, the bank machines, that we can reprogram them. And I spoke to someone and they said that certainly was possible, and we reprogram our cards. And so being strategically located and conveniently located around, people can easily go on a weekly basis when they go to take out their little money. They can vote for whatever the topic was at the time, right? Now, everybody wouldn't vote, eh? Some people, an issue may not concern them, and they may not vote. And so, you know, don't think that it's everybody will vote. Some, if it concerns them, they will vote, right? And don't feel that everybody wouldn't vote. Interestingly enough, in Athens, Greece, the people who didn't participate in the conversations in the square, debating of the legislative bills, and who didn't participate in the voting, they had a name for them. And that name was idiot, right? And if you look it up, you will see idiot is somebody who they don't partake in public life or politics, and they keep to themselves, right? But it's true, they're idiots, because if you don't partake in the politics, then you're leaving it up to others. And then why complain after that, right? So you need to participate. So, but if you don't have a system to participate, then okay, we understand, but now we need to create that system. 14 countries have used some form of online voting, but Estonia was the first to introduce permanent national internet voting with a robust security features. The small Baltic state began using online voting in 2005. The e-voting has served 8 elections. In 2005, in local elections, only 1.9% of the voters casted their ballots online. However, that rose to more than 47% in the most recent parliamentary election. So as they became more accustomed and had more faith in the system, more people gravitated and changed towards that. And so it's safe and effective and no side effects. And that's just a little pun there, and you all will know what that means. So people's representatives. So people's representatives, no party alliance, no total line politics, no dual portfolio. You are a person to act as mediator between your community and parliament, right? You are not going to run a ministry. It's no wonder the ministries, all our ministries, don't run properly. Not one of them run properly, okay? Because we don't have the correct managers in there to run them properly. No security detail. Why are we giving people security detail, right? Why? Are they doing something wrong that people will be, aggressive towards them, you think, right? So these people are just normal lay people. And I am suggesting, which is a recent suggestion, because the country has no money, this does not need to be a paying position. This could be a voluntary position, and it could be national service that people can give, right? People think of national service as, joining the cadets or military for a year or something. But no, people can give themselves for 1 year. You could be a school leaver, a university graduate. You can be a retired person who wants to give back a little bit, have your wits about you, and you can do it. You don't have to do it for 5 years. It could be a year, right? You're acting as a go-between your community and Parliament itself, taking the issues back and forth and taking the results of what the people want to ensure that that is what is constituted in Parliament. And of course, there will be ease of removal through a recall mechanism that certainly needs to be there. I don't know why that was never there in the first place. 1 year term is easy. In Switzerland, the prime minister is only 1 year, and they revolve, they go, and nobody becomes a king or anything there. So no more kings, no more rulers, right? I don't want a king, I don't want a ruler. I don't know who wants kings and rulers. Next. So the people's representatives are going to work in the constituencies. They're going to amend and pass the laws for the people, by the people, how it's supposed to be. Remember, we saw that in the dictionary thing, for the people, by the people. And they're going to sit now as a round table parliament, right? And we're going to elect a governor, right? Elect a governor. Now, the people and the people's representatives will put forward, each one will have the ability to put forward, the 41 people's representative, put forward somebody for governor, and we're going to put it out to the people and we'll vote. We'll pick one. So it is from the people that we pick a governor. And I talk about governor later instead of president. It's a better term. It's not colonial. It's just a better term because it's about governance and it's about governor. We can talk more about that if you have issues with it. And of course, there'll be appointing committees to do various things. Next. The round table and the independent people's representatives. Next. So this is what we currently have. We have this divisive, arrogant, time-wasting, bashing the other side parliament. Any of you all love this? Anybody love this? Anybody wants to go there and participate in that? I have sat there. I have sat there for 3 consecutive days and listened to them for 12 hours. And it's horrendous. I don't want to work in there. Okay? Sure, none of you all don't want to work in there. Waste of time. Let's see how it needs to be done. So that's the old way. And this is the new way. Right? Where we, the people, have our representatives sit at a round table parliament. Right? There's no time wasting there. Everybody is there is working together for the people's business. Right? It's not for the party business and the party financiers business. Okay? This is how we need to do it. Next. And via the technology, we are going to give our vote to our representative, who will then say, my constituency has a 75 to 25 vote on X, and therefore I have to vote on X because my constituency wants X, right? Next, we can vote for candidates there, right? We can vote for issues. It could be a yes or no scenario. It could be an A, B, C, D, or E scenario with multiple solutions to any one issue, right? Next, and just before I go on, voting apps have been made for a while now, and they're more and more sophisticated, more and more robust, and there are apps available. All we have to do now is get the tech persons to institute these within our communities. So we don't need a prime minister. We just need a chairperson to chair the meeting. We actually don't need a speaker of the house, right? And I think a lot of you would like that, right? And that's one less salary to pay, one big time salary that we pay there for a speaker that speaks a little bit but controls all our elected people, right? She gets to speak but controls our elected people. I don't understand, right? So we would rather have a people's representative chairperson, and it will be chosen from among the elected people's representatives, and they will act as chairperson, and they can rotate. I have had meetings with a number of political parties here, and it was difficult in trying to get them to do this because everyone wanted to be the leader, but I did get them to go along and have a roundtable, meeting for several months. But all of them wanted to be prime minister, so we had a problem. They didn't want to concede at all. And next. So back to governor, as I was saying, and so the governor, the real role of the governor is to ensure, to oversee the system, the governance system. That's why the word is there, governor, governance system, right? It doesn't mean it's colonial, okay? We had colonial style governors who paraded with their top hat and their cane and, their white suit and things like that. We don't need all that papi show again, right? But we do need somebody who can step in when something in the system and somebody is not playing fair and something is out of whack, that they can step in and say, hey, no, this is how it's supposed to be. Well, let's find a solution for this situation that has come before us here, right? So, and as I said earlier, that each MP or PR, people's representative, will suggest a candidate for governor, and the population will vote on those suggestions. And they can have a term, 3 to 5 years for the governor. And of course, they have to have a recall with anything. Nothing can be permanent. If you're misbehaving, you gotta go. Next. No more kings. This is important, people. No more kings. We don't want kings driving, when we have to pull aside and they pass with their squad cars and the sirens and they're telling you what to do, how to lock down, putting a mask on your face and whatever it is. I don't want to get into that, but no more kings, please. You know that. Right? So we the people shall be elected humble servants to do the people's work, the people's representatives. They ain't no big shot, right? They're doing the people's work. They're talking to the people, ensuring that the votes are in, and the will of the people is demonstrated into the parliament and into the laws and into the decision making of our country, right? No security detail, please. Next. And then we have to fix, the management. How are we gonna fix the management? All right. So this is not everything here, but it's just a little insight. And you may have seen this with somebody else, but I can assure you, he got it from me about 20 years ago, and it's fixed in mismanagement. So we need suitably qualified persons to manage the ministries and state agencies, right? All of which don't provide a profit, those state agencies. So we need to recruit, just like how big business do. They recruit from employment agencies the right person, right? Who are the right person for this particular, to run the Ministry of National Security, the Ministry of Education? Who has the credentials and the experience? And the employment agency will find, they will headhunt, they probably provide 5 of the top people, provide it to Parliament. Parliament will take it and give it to a hiring, firing, and performance evaluation committee. And then they will suggest and say, look, this should be the person for the job. Let's hire them. You know, tra-la-la and friend and family, right? Let's find the person, get it in, and performance evaluation. So you have criteria for the first year, second year, whatever it is. And that has to come out from like the University of West Indies, right? With the academic minds who will give us the plans of what we need in the criminology, what we need in the health, what we need in education and so forth, and deliver those plans. And it is for these managers to institute that and to develop the organization, to develop with those plans in mind. You have to have a plan. Remember we said that? So in all these institutions, you have to have a working plan. And you have to have somebody who can institute those plans and manage it. It ain't rocket science, right? And this thing about permanent secretaries, well, I mean, that is just a wrong fit. How can anybody be described as permanent? I don't know. If somebody can explain me how they got that name, I don't know. And they pick them up and they switch them to other ministries. So I don't know how the permanents come in. And they call them secretaries, yet they are really supposed to act as managers. Yet the ministers come in and take over the show, and you have to follow what the minister says. Sorry. Right? So again, no security detail for these persons. They're working. These are paid people. These are working people, right? Who are going to work to get our services properly managed and delivered to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We need to have our public services remedied. Again, no more kings. Next. So they need to have some proposed constitutional changes, and we need to submit that, just a few, to the electorate, and we must agree on that prior to election, right? And this will be carried out in the first or second sitting of the new parliament. The first sitting is usually just, you know, the inaugurational type of thing, but probably in the second sitting is where we can make constitutional changes based on a majority vote there, and also the majority vote of the citizenry prior to, right? And then on, we need to have the Constitution to become a living document whereby changes are routinely made in accordance with the needs in a timely fashion. We can't just leave the Constitution for 40 years and then, you know, you have these constitutional forums that go around the country indefinitely, but you cannot change it altogether. Nobody's going to agree to all the changes altogether. So you make incremental changes, but you do it with the input of the people, right? And they have to be the ones that say if something changed or not. That has to be instituted in the Constitution, right? That the people vote for constitutional change. And thereafter, we're going to be on a roller coaster to start setting things right, right? Because you can't be living with this archaic stuff. So the constitutional changes will be and have to be agreed upon before we get to election time, people. We have work to do prior to the election time coming. So the People's Representatives Chairperson elected by the people's representatives. The people's representative chairperson rotated, as in Switzerland, for a year, or whatever we decide. People's representatives sit at a round table parliament. Citizens vote for governor, put up from a slate, put up by the people's representatives. Mechanisms for citizens to contribute ideas and vote on laws. So this has to be put into the Constitution, but we need to agree on it first, prior to the election. And all the representatives that we are going to elect have to all make an agreement pact with the citizens that they are going to do that for us as soon as they are elected. Introduce the referendum recall, and the CEOs and managers will be recruited for running the ministries rather than putting the elected parliamentarians to go and also run ministries, right? Next. Summary. I think we had the summary there ready, so we can skip through this, right? No party system, no dual portfolio, people empowered, right? Next. So then many other changes. We need changes in the secure public transport. All these things we need to visit, but you know, we really need to uplift our poor and displaced. We cannot allow that to happen. And more people are becoming poor and displaced, right? But we need to uplift them. We cannot continue to disregard for humanity like that. This is unconscionable in the highest degree. We should not take another breath until we do something about it. How can the Prime Minister continue to allow this to happen, right? 40 years they're in a car park in town. A car park, that is not a facility for living. That's a facility for motor vehicles. Anyway, so you see I can get angry like the rest of us, right? We need to inspire and support our people. We need to inspire and support each other. I need inspiration when the day comes. I am human, right? You need it. We all need it. Next. The people are fed up. They know of no other way. They're weary. They're migrating. They only know the way of party politics. We have to change that. If you decide you like this today, the onus is on you to do something, because I don't know what else to do. I have been doing presentations like this for a long time, right? But I don't know how to get it out. I don't know. I've been given a task and I'm just trying. I'm trying my best. And I will continue to try. We have to stop the tribal voting. But we have to teach them that there's something else. And they will change. Because from the tribal voting, they are not getting their needs met. And they have to understand that. The people can't see the light. We need to see a light at the end of the tunnel and say, boy, look, if we do so and so, look, a brighter future can exist for us and our country. People need to see that. As I said, we need a plan. We need to see what the plan is. I ask people, I say, you know what 2020 was? They say something, man, and there a plan. I say, you know what was in it? They say, no. I say, so how can we walk down the road together, manifesting that plan into action as comrades, right? Any corporation tells the employees the plan, and the employees work together in getting that plan implemented and worked on, right? So we must see a plan, we must see a hope, we must see light to go towards. If there's no light to go towards, where do we go? We stay in the darkness. The people are feeling powerless and hopeless. It's sick, it's serious, it's sickening. People are sick, people can't breathe. People are in so much fear that they cannot breathe. And then they go to the hospital, and then you know what happens. While the elected rule and live as kings, they rule and live as kings. You think they have a curfew? They have no curfew. They're driving around and they're eating and drinking and doing what they want. Our voices, views, and participation will count. That's how we benefit. The laws will be guided and approved by the people. We will make the laws to support the people. We will govern our country's affairs. When I say we, I don't mean we party, you know. I mean we, us, all of us who come on board and work together. Because we have to come on board and work together. Because we have to make this happen. We have to make this organized, right? We need people on board who can help with organizing and marketing and putting things together. I can't do it alone. We have to be the empowered. No more kings. We have to be the kings of our destiny. No more arrogant dictatorship leadership, dictatorial leadership. We need hope. We need to move forward with hope and togetherness. We need that. Next. And the suitable managers who will be accountable, reducing mismanagement in the public service, reducing wastage and corruption, while providing efficient services to you. To you. So when you go somewhere, you get served with a smile first, and quickly and efficiently. And it's not, oh, but you need this too. You better come back with that. And you go back and, oh, you need something else. Right? 3 days to do what could have taken 5 minutes. Less taxpayers' money being wasted on mismanagement, corruption, and on supporting the kings. Monies will be directed towards fixing the services and infrastructure. Endless opportunities, utilizing and combining our ideas and creative talents. This is our natural resource. We must be able to tap into it. People are aflood with ideas. And just a better environment for everybody to evolve in. With hope, with love, with peace, with unity, and happiness. We can dance this life. Dance in this life in togetherness and in the work that we're supposed to do. And work can't be a four-letter bad word. Next. We will never again be controlled by the elitist mob. Big business will not be able to lobby and influence governments to create protectionist laws because the laws will be decided by the people. Lobbying is nothing but legalized bribery. It must be no more. When Bill Gates and Zuckerberg, they send lobbyists to wine, dine, and fill the pockets and bank accounts of congressmen, men, and they do that and women, and they do it here too, to whoever they have to do it to, the big business, right? And they get their protectionist laws and policies done for them. It is not about the people. It has to be ruled by the people. Democracy. Power and control will be in the hands of we, all of us. We will be able to decide our own destiny and our freedoms. Next. Are you ready? If you're ready, let's begin. The people need to know that there's a new way. Besides the yellow and the red, and the this party and the that party, there's a new way. There's a vision. There's possibilities. There's hope. And there's empowerment. People need to know that. So that is a major role. We need to sensitize the population. How are we going to do it? I could do my presentations, we can do word of mouth, social media, but they're going to shut us down. Because if we stop in the elected who reign in as kings, and we stop in the elitist mob who controlling the world, controlling the governments, controlling us, they're going to shut us down. They're going to take us out. They'll take me out, right? They will. So how are we going to do it? How are we going to ensure we have to have people who know how to do social media so we be secure, and whatever it is can't get taken out. So even if I get taken out, it'll be there and it can continue. We need to mobilize the community. So we need people to start setting up in the communities, community action groups, and also to put in place some of the existing, we can use existing community voting apps. And let's get those up and running. We have to do it prior to the election, right? I'll tell you why in a second. And communities need to vote for their representatives. We must agree on the proposed constitutional change, and we'll do that once the voting apps are up. And we have to get ourselves ready for general elections. Next. So prior to the election, as I said, we set up the voting apps in the constituencies. We have to elect from a slate of candidates that are going to offer themselves, because people are going to offer themselves. They're good people who would have offered themselves before, but because politics is a tainted thing, that they don't want to get involved in it. It's so tainted. But now that there's a different situation, a different opportunity, then you're going to find people want to fix their country under this new scenario. But what we have to do is have a mechanism, the voting mechanism, implemented in the community prior to the election, so that we elect one as a pre-election vote. We get one, and that is the one that our constituency will pay to register that people's representative to go on the ballot against the red and the yellow. So it will be one for our constituency already decided on going on against the red and yellow. We don't want 20 people as independent candidates going up against the red and the yellow. We don't want to divide up the votes. We want to already know who our person is, and we will pay and put them on the ballot, right? And election come, and we put them in, right? So we don't have to riot. We're going to throw them out like this, right? Next. So We Decide TT is the supporting organization. We are but a few souls in this organization. We welcome anyone that would like to come aboard. You can come aboard and assist, right? We need hands on deck. Hands on deck. We need to start rolling. We need people with organizational skills, participating, marketing, anywhere you can play a role, many, many roles, right? Because we've got to get first the message out and then set up these structures within the communities and get the ball rolling. We have a website, WeDecideTT.com. It is under construction. This week, this recording will be launched on it, and that'll be the start. We also have a small little intro as well, and we're going to launch just with that. And as soon as we can put more, we will put more. So it's sitting there, and it has a few things on it, but it's waiting for this. We have a Facebook page. It is not launched. It is there waiting again, and you can take note of it. That Gmail has not been instituted, so if you want to use a Gmail, you can use namatt2010@gmail.com. That's NAMATT2010@gmail.com. You can get on to me directly, 720-4210. Right, I'll put you on the We Decide WhatsApp, and we can have a conversation before. So if I don't know you, we can get to know each other, and we can see how we can get you in the group. And that last number there, 624-3727 is my office number, which you can also call if you like. But if you call me on the 720-4210, I'll be able to put you on the WhatsApp, the We Decide TT WhatsApp group, and then we can blast out things there for when the website and so forth is up and running. A few more slides, and then I'm going to look at answering any questions that you have. So we have some things. We're getting some quotes on some garment pins so that we can start putting it on. We can identify ourselves as supporters of this particular, whatever you want to call it, organization or a way of thinking or political awareness or whatever. So we're going to have some garment pins, some armbands. We're going to do some armbands. Before they put us in armbands, we're going to put some armbands, and we're going to unite everybody, right? We're going to have everybody wearing the armbands because there's no divisiveness here. This is not red and yellow. This is not vaccinated, non-vaccinated. We're not talking about anything like that here, right? This is not about dividing the people. On another side, we could talk that if we have, our views, but here in We Decide TT, we're not talking about those divisive things right now. Those things will be talked about later on when we have voting mechanisms in play, and we can see what the will of the people is. Right? Right now, let me not push anybody away. Right? Everybody in. And I don't think that anybody will dislike what I am suggesting. Right? Of course, people will say, oh, that will work, and this or that, and bring the arguments, and that's fine. And I have been listening to arguments of this for 50 years, so I think I'm quite adept to standing up and answering and making my arguments on the matter. T-shirts, bumper stickers. I think bumper stickers will be really nice. You put on your bumper, your windscreen, and I'm part of We. We is all embracing. It's pulling everybody together. And call cards. Somebody said that call cards were a good thing because you might meet somebody and you might start to tell them about it, and then you could just give them a call card and say, here, check that website later when you have time and see what you think, instead of trying to explain to them everything, because it's very difficult to explain this unless you give the whole picture. And that's why I like to do the presentation of this part of the thing, because as I said, I have other parts lovely parts on the economy and taxation and all sorts of lovely things. But on this part, it's important to show the entirety so you see how everything kind of fits in. Next. Right, so join, register. So right now we don't have a mechanism. So hopefully on the website we will have a registration thing if somebody can put it on. And if people want to financially support, fine, but you don't have to. But that way we can just, do some other work, and great. But we're not going to be, paying homage to any financiers because we're going to be working on the will of the people and things like that, right? And participate. The most important is to participate. Let's stop sitting and watching the show as it unfolds. Let us see a vision of a different movie, and let us be the movie stars. Let us be the actors in the movie that we want, in the outcome that we want, right? Let us stop being the audience watching the movie that we really don't want and making us feel full of fear and anger when the day comes. Let us be looking at the light and going towards it, right? That is what we have to do. We have to be very, very focused, right? And we have to do the work. It's work, but it's very, very fulfilling, I can assure you. And there are many blessings to be had when you do God's work, right? Or, the supreme power, whatever you want to call it. Fine. Yeah, so we need to share and we need to enlighten everybody that we come in contact with. We need to try. Just mention, give a card, direct, try. We have to, right? for a better future. Together we can do it. Apart, we cannot. Can't do it. We'll be taken over as we are being taken over now. Next. So, as I said, it's our responsibility to enlighten and empower the people, or our people. Together we aspire, together we achieve, together we can do this. I think that's run to the end there.